16 years ago, I was diagnosed with lung cancer.
I'm Gerald Dash, stage 4 lung cancer survivor.
My name is Karen. I'm a 5.5-year survivor of stage 4 non-small cell lung cancer.
I'm a stage 4 lung cancer survivor for 5.5 years. I remember the day that I met and spoke with the first lung cancer survivor and asked him everything. And I can remember thinking, you know, if he can do it, I can do it.
There are lots of new treatments out there. There are lots of drugs being tried and research protocols that are available. So even when cure isn't an option, there's many therapeutic options out there, and that the next one may help them.
What we're seeing recently over the past 5 years are very exciting new drugs that are targeting cancer cells specifically or tumors specifically, something we had never had before. And we want to identify better treatments for cancer patients. And my interest in particular is in identifying better treatments for lung cancer patients. And the way we do that is through clinical trials. The benefit of a clinical trial is that this drug or drugs may hopefully be better than standard of care. We don't know that, but that clearly is one of the benefits. And the other point is, realistically, this is how we make progress in oncology. All the drugs that we have now today were developed in exactly this way, by patients who were brave enough to participate on a phase 1 or a phase 2 or a phase 3 trial. These patients have life-threatening diseases. They don't have sore throats or backaches. And you develop very special relationships with them. And I am very honored to be part of their lives.
The diagnosis was lung cancer, and that came as a complete shock. I was asymptomatic. You feel like there's nothing that they're willing to even try when they're telling you, you know, you've got 6 or 8 months and just go home. I went through 4 oncologists and 2 surgeons, really, before I found anyone that was willing to treat it. I knew I wanted to do a clinical trial. I just didn't know which one. And I guess the reason I thought I wanted a clinical trial was because when I was talking with them, they were saying, well, this chemotherapy will work in maybe 6 to 10% of the population, and this one might work in 8% of the population. And I thought those were terribly low statistics.
I almost always will suggest a clinical trial as my highest priority option if the patient's eligible.
You want to take in consideration what the side effects are, what the chemotherapy may or may not do to you, and how does that fit in your lifestyle. You want the best treatment, but you also want good quality of life. My daughters have just been my focus through this. I have just always felt like I was born to become their mother. That was my purpose, was just to be their mom. And I wasn't done. I needed to be their mom for a very long time. He was going over side effects. I said, it doesn't matter because I want the most aggressive treatment you can give me. And he said, no. He would make me pay attention to the side effects. And he said, you know I can kill your cancer, but the trick is I have to kill your cancer while I keep you alive.
Patients who present with early stage disease, generally meaning resectable disease that can be operated on, there we are often typically going for cure. And so clinical trials in that situation are in fact trying to improve the cure rate. Sometimes for patients with what we call locally advanced disease or stage 3 disease, that's disease which has not yet spread but is too big and bulky to take out. And that's disease which is typically treated with a combination of chemotherapy and radiation therapy. A small proportion of those patients can be cured as well. Many more patients can have their life extended. And clinical trials in that setting are going to improve the cure rate and hopefully make people live longer and better. Patients with advanced disease, metastatic disease that's already spread, cure is probably not a realistic goal. What is a realistic goal is trying to keep the cancer under control for as long as possible, and to do so without giving the patient a lot of side effects from the chemotherapy.
So I decided that a clinical trial would give me the very best possible care that they could have at the moment. And if it wasn't working, they would then give me what was known to be the best possible care. I wasn't apprehensive. Otherwise, I wouldn't have gone on the trial, I think. I always felt that I was going to get state-of-the-art treatment, that I was going to be monitored more than I would have been. Certainly, when you're on a clinical trial, the monitoring it couldn't be better. I always felt that I was a participant in something wonderful. I was a participant because they couldn't have this trial unless I was there, participating equally.
A phase 1 trial is a trial which involves typically a new drug, which is just coming out of the laboratory. The purpose of a phase 1 study generally is to find out what the best dose of the drug is to give. We get a feel for what we think are the side effects of the drug, and then it's time to actually try the drug in a particular cancer type and see does it work. And that's called a phase 2 study. And the goal of the phase 2 study is, does this drug seem to have some activity in lung cancer?